The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor of the reception hall, sending shards skittering like accusations across the polished surface. I froze, my heart slamming against my ribs as my mother's voice sliced through the wedding chatter like a serrated knife. "Thief! That boy's a thief. He stole Emily's necklace, the one from Grandma, worth thousands." Her finger jabbed toward my son Tommy, who stood wide-eyed beside me, his small hand clutching a napkin smeared with cake frosting. The room went deathly quiet, 100 eyes swiveling to us like spotlights on a stage of humiliation. Tommy's face crumpled, his lower lip trembling as tears welled up, and in that instant, fury ignited in my chest, a white-hot blaze that threatened to consume everything. My own mother, betraying us in front of family, friends, and strangers at my sister's perfect wedding. How could she? I grabbed Tommy's shoulder, pulling him close as whispers erupted around us. The air thickened with the scent of wilting roses from the centerpieces and the faint, acrid tang of spilled wine. Emily, my sister radiant in her lace gown moments ago, now stood rigid at the head table, her new husband Mark hovering protectively. Her eyes met mine, not with shock, but with a flicker of something darker, satisfaction. No, that couldn't be. But the doubt wormed in, twisting my gut. "Mom, what the hell?" I hissed, my voice low but laced with venom. Tommy buried his face in my side, his body shaking with silent sobs. He was only 10, for God's sake. Innocent, his biggest crime that day being sneaking an extra slice of cake. My mother, Evelyn, straightened her posture, her silver hair impeccably coiffed, her pearl earrings catching the chandelier light like mocking stars. "I saw him, Laura. Sneaking around the bridal suite earlier. The necklace was on the vanity, and now it's gone. Who else could it be? That boy's always been troublesome." Troublesome. The word hit like a slap. Tommy had ADHD, sure, but he was kind-hearted, creative. A kid who built forts from couch cushions and drew comics about superheroes saving the day. Not a thief. But Evelyn had never hidden her disdain. She'd called him wild behind my back, blamed my lax parenting for his energy. And now, this public execution. Guests shifted uncomfortably, chairs scraping against the floor like nails on a chalkboard. Uncle Frank cleared his throat, his bushy mustache twitching. "Evelyn, maybe it's misplaced. Weddings are chaotic." But she waved him off, her eyes locked on me with a cold certainty that made my skin crawl. "Check his pockets, Laura. Prove me wrong." The demand hung in the air, heavy as lead. Tommy whimpered, "Mommy, I didn't." And my heart shattered. I knelt, forcing a calm I didn't feel, and patted his pockets gently. Empty, of course. But the damage was done. Eyes narrowed, judgments formed. Emily approached, her heels clicking sharply. "Laura, if Tommy took it, we need to find it. It's irreplaceable." Her voice was soft, but underneath, a thread of accusation. Why wasn't she defending us? We were blood. The reception blurred into a nightmare. Security, hired for the upscale venue, escorted us to a side room, their radios crackling with static. Tommy clung to me, his tears soaking my dress. "I was just looking at the pretty flowers," he whispered. "I didn't touch anything." I believed him every word. But as we sat there, the weight of betrayal settled like fog. Evelyn had always favored Emily, the golden child, the one who married well, while I was the single mom scraping by after my divorce. Was this her way of punishing me? Humiliating us to elevate her? My mind raced through memories, her subtle digs at holidays, her concern masking control. Anger bubbled, hot and unrelenting, but beneath it, heartbreak, a mother's betrayal cutting deeper than any knife. Hours later, the necklace miraculously appeared, tucked in Emily's makeup bag, overlooked in the chaos. Evelyn muttered a half-hearted apology, blaming stress. But the room had emptied by then. Guests had whispered, phones had buzzed with gossip. Tommy refused to eat, his eyes puffy and distant. As we drove home through the rain-slicked streets, wipers thumping like accusatory heartbeat, resentment festered. "Why did Grandma say that, Mom?" Tommy asked from the back seat, his voice small. I gripped the wheel, knuckles white. I don't know, sweetie. But it's not your fault. Inside though, fury roared. She had stolen his innocence, our dignity. And for what? A misplaced trinket. No, this was deliberate. I could see it now. The way she'd glanced at Emily before pointing, a silent conspiracy. That night, as Tommy slept fitfully, I paced the dim living room, the floorboards creaking underfoot. Shadows danced from the street lamp outside, casting eerie patterns on the walls. Humiliation burned in my veins. How dare she? My own mother, weaponizing a lie against her grandson. Heartbreak twisted like a thorn. We'd been close once, before Dad died and her bitterness hardened. Now obsession took root. I imagined confronting her, screaming truths until she cracked. But doubt crept in. What if I was wrong? What if it was a mistake?
Well,
the look in her eyes had been calculated. I poured a glass of wine, the liquid sloshing like my turbulent thoughts. Revenge whispered, seductive and dark. Not violence. No, something subtler, a mirror to her betrayal. Expose her secrets, shatter her facade. But guilt nagged, she was family. Could I stoop to her level? Days blurred into weeks. Emily called once, breezy and distant. Mom didn't mean it, Laura. Let's move on. Move on. As if Tommy's nightmares, his sudden withdrawal at school, were nothing. I replayed the wedding in my mind, dissecting every glance, every word. Evelyn's house calls stopped. She avoided us at family gatherings. Subtle hints emerged. A cousin mentioned Evelyn's forgetfulness lately, but I saw through it. Manipulation to garner sympathy. My inner conflict raged. Part of me yearned for reconciliation, to hug her and pretend. But resentment won, cold and unyielding. I began planning in secret, notebooks filled with ideas under the cover of night. Fear prickled. What if it backfired? Moral qualms surfaced. Was I becoming the monster? Yet the pursuit called, a slow burn igniting. At a family dinner 3 months later, tension simmered like a pot about to boil. The dining room smelled of roasted chicken and garlic, candles flickering on the mahogany table. Evelyn sat at the head, regal as ever. Tommy stayed home with a sitter. I couldn't risk another scene. Conversation flowed superficially, but suppressed rage coiled in my chest. How's Tommy adjusting? Evelyn asked, her tone saccharine. I forced a smile, teeth gritted. He's fine. Kids are resilient. Inside, fantasies swirled, revealing her past affair, the one Dad confided before dying. But I held back, letting suspense build. Emily laughed at something Mark said, her diamond ring glinting, a reminder of her untouched life. Jealousy flared, layered with betrayal. Were they in on it? As dessert arrived, Evelyn's famous pie, tart and sweet, I dropped a hint. Mom, remember that old photo album? The one with secrets. Her fork paused midair, eyes narrowing. What album? Innocence feigned, but fear flashed. The room grew quieter, silverware clinking like ticking bombs. I savored the moment, heart pounding. This was just the beginning. Revenge wasn't rash. It was calculated, a web spun slowly. Doubt lingered. Could I follow through? But as I drove home, rain pattering on the windshield, resolve hardened. She had humiliated us. Now I'd dismantle her world piece by piece. The obsession consumed me. Work suffered. Emails unanswered, meetings zoned out. Friends noticed my distraction, but I brushed them off. Inner thoughts warred. Justice or vengeance? Poetic, perhaps, to make her feel the isolation she imposed. I researched quietly, digging into family history via old letters in the attic. Dust motes danced in the flashlight beam as I uncovered Evelyn's hidden shame. A falsified will, cheating Dad out of inheritance for her luxury. Guilt twisted, exposing this would hurt everyone. But anger prevailed. Tommy's therapy sessions, his drawings of monsters labeled Grandma, fueled me. 6 months post-wedding, a breakthrough. At a coffee shop, steam rising from my mug like suppressed steam, I overheard Emily on the phone. "Mom, it worked." Laura's pulling away. My blood ran cold. Conspiracy confirmed. Heartbreak deepened. My sister complicit. Why? Jealousy over our childhood bond. Or Evelyn's manipulation. I followed Emily home that night, shadows lengthening, pulse racing. Not stalking, just observing. Her house glowed warmly, a stark contrast to my fractured life. Resentment peaked. They'd pay. Planning intensified. I'd forge evidence of Evelyn's theft. Plant something incriminating at the next gathering. Moral conflict surged. This made me know better. But fantasies of her tearful apology, her empire crumbling, pushed me forward. Fear of consequences loomed, legal, emotional. Yet the slow burn built, tension coiling like a spring. The family reunion loomed like a storm cloud, the sprawling backyard of Evelyn's estate buzzing with relatives under string lights. Laughter echoed, but to me it rang hollow. 8 months since the wedding, and my plan simmered, ready to boil over. I arrived with Tommy, his hand in mine. Small but steady now, thanks to time and talks. He'd asked to come, to show I'm not bad, and my heart ached with pride and fury. Evelyn greeted us at the gate, her smile plastic. "Laura, Tommy, glad you made it." Her eyes darted to him, a flicker of unease. But let her squirm. The air hummed with barbecue smoke and children's shrieks, grass soft underfoot. I mingled, suppressing rage behind polite nods. Inner turmoil churned. Doubt whispered to abort, but obsession drowned it. I'd planted the seed weeks ago. An anonymous email to Emily hinting at family secrets surfacing. Her replies to Evelyn, intercepted via a borrowed phone hack, a friend's tech favor, morally gray but necessary, revealed panic. "Mom, what if she knows about the will?" Confirmation. They weren't innocent. This was retaliation for years of favoritism, Evelyn's way of protecting Emily from my influence. Tommy played tag with cousins, his laughter a bomb, but watchful eyes followed him. Humiliation lingered in whispers. I cornered Emily by the punch bowl, the fruity scent cloying. "Sis, about the necklace. Why didn't you back us up?" She faltered, stirring her drink. Mom was sure. It was chaotic. Her eyes avoided mine, guilt etched in fine lines. Chaotic enough to let her accuse a child. My voice low, laced with venom. She glanced at Evelyn across the yard, directing games like a queen. "Laura, drop it. Family forgives." But her tone cracked, revealing cracks in their alliance. As dusk fell, fireflies winking like conspirators, I executed phase 1. In the house, amid the clutter of coats and bags, I slipped a forged letter into Evelyn's purse, mimicking Dad's handwriting, detailing her affair and will tampering. Sensory details assaulted. The creak of floorboards, the faint lavender of her perfume on the leather. Heart pounding, sweat beating, I retreated. Fear gripped, what if caught? Moral qualms surged. This was deception, mirroring hers. But resentment justified. An eye for an eye. Dinner unfolded under the pavilion, plates clattering, conversations overlapping. Tommy sat beside me whispering, "Grandma's watching me." Indeed, her gaze pierced. Tension built, slow and insidious. Uncle Frank raised a toast. To family, through thick and thin. Ernie bit. As pie circulated, Evelyn's specialty again, I leaned in. Mom found something interesting in the attic. Dad's letters. Her fork clanged against the plate, eyes widening. "What letters?" Voice sharp but trembling. Subtle hints dropped, letting suspense marinate. Post-dinner, as guests milled, Evelyn pulled me aside to the study. Bookshelves loomed, shadows deep, the air thick with dust and secrets. "What are you playing at, Laura?" Her facade cracked, anger flashing. "Playing. Like you played at the wedding." Suppressed rage erupted. "You accused Tommy to humiliate me, why?" "Because I didn't fit your perfect narrative." She recoiled, but denial faltered. "It was a mistake." I pressed. "Or was it to cover for Emily?" She lost the necklace on purpose. Heartbreak mingled with triumph, her face paled. Confession tumbled. Emily was jealous, always has been. You were Dad's favorite. I helped her feel secure. Betrayal deepened. My mother pitting sisters against each other. Obsession peaked. You destroyed Tommy for that? Tears welled in her eyes, guilt surfacing. But cold resolve hardened me. Check your purse. She did, hands shaking, unfolding the letter. Gasps escape. This, how? Panic set in. I feigned shock. It's Dad's. Must have been hidden. The twist unraveled. Emily burst in, phone in hand. Mom, another email, threatening exposure. Their alliance fractured. Evelyn turned on her. You said it'd blow over. Shouts echoed, revelation spilling. The will, the affair, years of manipulation. Guests overheard, whispers turning to gasps. Humiliation reversed. Evelyn's empire crumbled, relatives distancing. But doubt hit as Tommy entered, eyes wide. Mom! His innocence pierced my resolve. Had I gone too far? Guilt crashed. Revenge tasted bitter, consequences looming, family shattered. In the chaos, a shocking reveal. Emily confessed. I planted the necklace accusation to get back at you for everything. Why? Childhood slights, perceived favoritism. Layers peeled. No villains, just broken people. Poetic justice struck with unexpected force. As police arrived, called by a cousin over forgery threats, Evelyn broke down, admitting all. But the twist, the letter was real. I'd found it months ago, not forged. My plan was exposure, not fabrication. Moral grayness. I'd manipulated timing, but truth prevailed. Heartbreak resolved into catharsis. Forgiveness. Distance. We left under stars, Tommy asleep in the car. Resentment faded, replaced by weary peace. Revenge's payoff. Freedom from chains, but at what cost? Family fractured, yet honest. In the rearview, Evelyn's house receded. A film fading to black, lessons etched in scars.